This is a 2016 Kenworth W900 long hood. I ordered it brand new from the factory. When I originally ordered it was a 2-axle, so I was set up to do bottom dumps. We had the paint scheme and stuff done right from the factory. Okay. A lot of people say, oh, it looks like Optimus Prime, this and that. And Funny story about that is my son, who passed away, who I'm doing this truck show for, when I got it all done with the sketching on it and had it all colored in with pencil and stuff, and my son's like, Dad, it looks like Optimus Prime. You're a 10-year-old. What do you know? You don't know nothing. And the very first load I pulled in to get unloaded, and the guy goes, you driving that Optimus Prime truck? All right, son, you're right. So anyhow, that was kind of a little funny backstory to it. Even though it's, for us truckers, we know it's not a Peterbilt, which Optimus Prime was. It doesn't have flames, but the general public thinks it looks like that. So I let them believe it. I just go with it on that. So
red and blue, right?
Yeah. So, but no, God honest, the name of my truck, I call it Always Heading Home. With what I've been through, sometimes you don't get home. So I've always keep that in my mind. I got to get home no matter what, whatever it takes. If I got to stop and sleep, whatever the case may be, I'm always heading home, whether I just leave the driveway or got my turnaround back. So that's the name of the truck. In 2017, I got into hauling cars and realized that a 2-axle wasn't going to cut it. And I really enjoyed the gig. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this for a while. So that's when I had it stretched out. Well, actually, I didn't stretch it out. I just dropped the single axle drive out and just butted up a set of tandems off a wreck truck off to the existing frame, which subsequently gave me this wheelbase of 278. Okay. So that's basically how it become a 3-axle. Okay. Then as time went on, guys were like, dude, you got a good looking truck. You should do this. You should do that. And, as a kid, I never thought I'd ever have a, quote unquote show truck. But with the gig that I was doing, I was making good money. I'm like, why not? Let's dump a little money into it, and got into the front end lowering and all that good stuff. And it's basically what you see here. And what we've done here, we've done custom mirror brackets made of 1-inch tubing that drop my mirrors 8 inches, which makes it very functional. They don't vibrate. A lot of people think everything I've done this was just to look cool, and that really is not the fact. Everything has a functional purpose to it besides just looking good. So that's the story with the mirrors. And of course, the steel tubing, it doesn't move anywhere. It's real solid. Oh, yeah. So with it being 8 inches lower, made it real functional for me. So, and then of course, just to have these mirror brackets to drop the mirror down, we had to chop the air cleaner. So I'm running a Cummins ISX 15. I got the Dynaflex chrome kit on it. And then once I put that chrome on, I'm like, oh, I need a little more chrome. So I did the radiator brackets and some of the other little goodies, to get that little more bling that I wanted on it. And, it's worked out pretty good. So I custom cut all the holes in the wheels. A lot of these guys will paint their hubs. And of course, when you paint a hub, it's going to get scratched. And if you crack the hub, then you got to go take a new hub to get painted, put it back on. So I was like, I got to find something different. So I found the balancers from Centromatic. They work the same way, as a regular balanced tire, and they cover up the hole. So I painted those. I give the same look effect as a painted hub without having, the maintenance on it. If I crack a hub, and it gives me the same look, and we had the holes, milled out to a bigger size. So all Dynaflex exhausts and steps and so forth. That's 8-inch pipe. Yeah, those are called Chino tip style exhaust. So, and then the interior, my right hand man Brett. When we're during COVID, we had lots of time, so we literally gutted this thing down all the way to the bare metal on the inside. Wow. We went and had the soft parts of the interior dyed, so it wouldn't crack or nothing like paint does. Sanded down all the texture and stuff out of the hard plastic, so it got us that nice smooth finish, and had them painted. Had the seats reupholstered with the right colors with the name embroidered in it. And then, the shifter, we upgraded the stereo system, basically gutted the whole stereo system, redid all that. We put an aftermarket deck in it, getting rid of the old cheap stuff from Kenworth. Okay. And that's kind of where we have the interior, the floor too. All the printed stuff here, we actually sent it to a guy in LA who was able to print this on a vinyl for us to have the same paint scheme in the interior as is on the outside of the paint. Okay. Now the floor, that was a fluke, but a very good fluke. We ordered a flat aluminum floor piece from State. We got it. Okay, we're gonna paint it. How are we gonna keep it, looking good all the time? How can we do this and still be functional? Because again, we drive this truck all the time. So Brett goes, let's put epoxy over it. If we put epoxy over it, we can sand it and polish it out if it gets scratched. I'm like, that's a great idea. So that floor actually has about 1/4 inch of epoxy on it. This floor, we've driven in it all through the winter. And 3 weeks ago, I sanded it with 2000 grit, buffed it out, and that's what we got now. It looks just almost as good as when we first put it in it. So again, it looks good, but it's still functionable for what we got to do, because I'm not a person to slip off my shoes on and on. I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of nasty scratches in there from rocks that got caught in my shoe, and they came right out. So I was really happy with the way that, accident really happened. So cool. I want to do something different with the deck plate, because everybody does the typical inside deck plate, no seams. So
right.
I decided to do something all the way over with basically a skirting, which gives me a more lower look to it, which is what I was going for. So I had that custom built from a fabricator there in Hilmar. Full painted fenders, and I'm hooked up to a 2020 Cottrell 5308. During COVID again, we sanded and polished all the decks. We added numerous lights, along the side, underneath as an underglow, over the lights, all that sort of thing. So it's worked out real well, at least especially at night on the way it looks. A few little things we might do to it, but for the most part, it's pretty much done.